edition of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. And now, without further ado, here's your host, the Voice of Doom. Alright, thanks. Thanks a lot, everybody. It's wonderful to be back. Going to do a third episode here. And this one's going to be a little different from my last two because I'm not going to do too much ranting and raving. I want to be a little bit more, not the lighter side, but just more, cash. So the topic for today is basically explaining the format of this show, and the second topic will be my favorite writers. I just want to let people kind of get a glimpse of where I'm coming from. The best way to do that is to know what I read. So, the two things I'm going to do. First thing is I want to explain this show. Now, first thing I wanted to do was do extemporaneous rambling and do it in one take, no retakes, no edits, no graphics, no charts, no data, nothing to back up what I say. I have no credentials. I have no desk, no suit. And the reason that I wanted to do it that way is not only is it faster because I just do a 12-minute or a 15-minute thing and then that's it, it's done, take it or leave it. And I can always repeat myself later if I forget something or say something wrong because I see it all the time on the news anyway. Constantly repeating themselves over and over again. But at any rate, I don't want to put a whole lot of time and trouble into this because everybody tries to be their best. I told you in the last, in the first episode how amazing people are. You give them half a chance, you say, okay, anybody can make a commercial, anybody can make a movie, anybody can make a TV show, anybody can make a graphic cartoon, whatever, info thing. I mean, yeah, they come out of the woodwork. People are brilliant. So, you give them a chance, they do great things. So, it's useless to try to be the best. It's useless to try to strive to do better than them. They're always going to do better. I don't even know how to do it, and nobody's really going to help me. So, as far as all that slick production stuff, why bother? It's going to be substance over form. That's the way it is, and that's the way I want it to be. And that way, look, I've already done 3 minutes, and I'm not going to go back. So that's the format of the show. I want to be as concise as possible, and I don't want to have a whole lot of hoopla, as you might say. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, as far as extemporaneous, I mean, the format of the show is I wander around aimlessly, pacing back and forth, drinking, having a few hits of marijuana, and just put together in my brain what I feel like I want to say for that segment, and I try to organize it. Jot down a few things to remind me what I'm doing, and hope for the best, and that's just the way I'm going to do it. So that didn't take long. It was 4 minutes, and I explained pretty much the show. Don't expect much. Another concept that I've always adhered to is if everybody's trying to be the best, I mean, I like to go a different way. Why don't I try to be the worst? I've done that with all my stuff. I've done it with my life. I mean, strive to be the best. Everybody's trying to do that. So I'm kind of striving to be the worst, but you gotta be kind of good to be bad. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's easier to go the other way, less traffic. I mean, I can go all by myself trying to be bad. So that's the way the show is going to be, and that's just the way it is. I like it or lump it. Now, next thing on the agenda, a little list of authors I like. I just came up with this like a few minutes ago. I really like to talk about that because I love books, reading 4, maybe 5, kindergarten, let's just say. And I was intrigued by these letters because my parents and all my aunts and uncles were reading these letters and getting something out of it. They were talking about what they were seeing, and it's like, I don't understand what that is. So I asked my mom to teach me to read. I suppose in most, like in this day and age, oh, wonderful. You'll be an avid reader, this gets you accelerated. And my mom's like, oh, you'll learn it in school. She wasn't negligent. She just didn't feel the need to, try to teach me to read, even though I wanted to. And I later learned when I was going for my teacher's certificates that actually people shouldn't even be trying to learn to read till they're like 8. That's beside the point. Piaget was supposedly a big-time educator, but nobody listened to him, so never mind that. At any rate, I would say that I learned more in first grade than I've learned since then. I mean, as far as living in this world, what I needed. Because I learned the alphabet, I learned how to put all those letters together into words, and I learned basic math. I really haven't needed that much else, really. So I took to reading like a duck to water. And I was reading so fast and furiously, as they might say, that my teacher didn't believe I was reading. Because we'd all get together in circles and, okay, we're going to read this book, and when you get to page 5, close your book. So I thumb through it and close the book, and the teacher's still looking at her book. She looks up and she's like giving me this look like, give me a break. And I did that a few times, and she's like, you're not reading. You're supposed to read the 5 pages and then close the book. And I'm like, I did already. And so she's like, no, because you finished before I did. And I'm like, well, whatever. And she goes, well, read the first 5 pages. Okay, run, spot, run. See, spot, run. See, Dick, run. See, Dick with Jane. Jane with, and it's like, come on. I was like 6. I was a smart ass, real smart ass. So I started reading a lot. I read a lot of Dr. Seuss. It's a shame they had to cancel him because he was great. I love Dr. Seuss. And that's another subject about canceling. We can talk about context and all that crap. Stupid idiocy. Total idiocy. It's like, yeah, things weren't appropriate for this day and age. That doesn't mean you throw it away. You burn a book and then you don't remember the stupid things you did back then. It's really, really ridiculous. How do people not realize that? At any rate, I'm getting too long, so writers I like. Well, let's see. Well, you can talk about books, like individual books that are great, like Lord of the Flies and Lord of the Rings and Watership Down and Clockwork Orange. Great books, but, it's just like, I don't know, one-hit wonders. I don't know what you want to say. But the authors I really like Hunter S. Thompson, total liberal idiot, druggy, but I like his writing. It's fun. And if you can find Curse of Lono, it's a great book. I think it's out of print. He's like high on acid, and he's deep sea fishing in Kona in a storm. So it's hilarious. Great book. Ambrose Bierce. Most people have never heard of him. He's great. Most sarcastic, bitter guy that ever lived. He's great. He knows all about how life works, and he's very cynical. Interesting guy. Love Ambrose Bierce. Yeah, he wrote a thing on Columbus, an essay. It's like, yeah, I'll never, Columbus Day is a stupid holiday. Idiocy. Let's celebrate a pirate. We're so smart. Okay, Charles Bukowski. I've read a lot of his stuff. I just like the idea that some drunken idiot can live in flop houses and write like 20 books. I mean, a bunch of poetry. Pretty amazing. People are amazing. So those are the kind of offbeat guys. Orwell, Huxley. Had to read that in college. Going for the teacher's certificate, of course. Had to read Pedagogy of the Oppressed. All this other stuff. Yeah, they were real pieces of work back then, too. So, what else? Well, the great book of all time. I mean, the best book ever made is, of course, Les Miserables. If you haven't read it, then you got to do it before you die. Definitely have to read it before you die. Masterpiece. Brilliant book. Great. Extremely good book. Shakespeare's good. Like Macbeth. My kid and I love Macbeth, and we're always trying to find new, nuances in the stuff. We just like the play. It's easy to understand. Some authors I like just because the image that you get in your head is like, you read books and you make up these things in your head because that's all you can do. You can't, they're just telling you the words. You gotta picture it. So there's some people I really love. Herman Hesse, great guy. Real deep, very, very deep. It's not like reading a book, it's like reading a painting. It's very interesting the way he writes. He can make the most mundane things beautiful. I don't know how he does it. Really genius. Siddhartha, that's a good one. What else was good by him? Journey to the East, that was good. Damien I liked. Steppenwolf, that's pretty good. James Clavell, Shogun. Gotta read it before you die if you haven't read it already. Great book. Freaking brilliant. Taipan's pretty good. King Rat, not too bad. I like Clavell. And then, like Thomas Hardy, it's like, how can a writer write about a bunch of rubes, villagers in a freaking village in the freaking moorlands, heath all over the place, and make it interesting and make it like, yeah, I want to know what's going to happen. So, like, the guy was really good. You can make, desolate underbrush seem beautiful. I don't know how these writers do it. Wish I could do it. At any rate, so fiction, Sherlock Holmes, Conan Doyle, read everything he's written, read every Sherlock Holmes story many, many times. Love it. Love Sherlock Holmes. Helps me think. I love the Victorian era. That's my time. That's when I was really happy. Believe it or not, Dean Koontz is one of my favorite authors. I mean, I have like 50 of his books. I've read you think, he's just like a pulp fiction. No way. He's very deep. His books have really interesting ideas. I mean, he's probably deeper than he knows that he is, but I don't want to get into that. Interesting guy. I don't know him, but I know he's interesting because when you read 50 books from a guy, you kind of get to know him. Stephen King, believe it or not, man, he's a pretty good writer. You can say what you will, but I mean, he knows how to entertain with a book, and if you have a chance and have like 3 months to spare, I would definitely suggest reading The Dark Tower. And it's 3,000 pages plus long, and it's probably the most convoluted, twisted plot ever devised by a human mind. I can't even describe it. You just read it. I don't even want to say what it's about. It's just amazing. How could somebody come up with something so bizarre? It's got to be, I don't know, it's got to strange. We used to read Vonnegut back in high school, I'm going to start reading him again because I haven't read him like in 40 years or more, 45 years. I had to read like Mother Night again, play her piano, just to see how close he is to the mess we got going today. Anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of where I'm at as far as literature goes. I know, pretty mundane, nothing real intellectual, but I'm almost up to 15 minutes, so this is the longest episode yet, and I'm sure you're bored, totally out of your mind, so I'll let you go, and we'll do it again next time. Next episode will be way exciting. All right, good night, everybody, and thanks.